Okay, so today we're continuing ellipses. I think we have another day of this, and then we'll kind of wrap up ellipses and go on to hyperbolas, which are a little bit more confusing. But we'll get there. There's some differences that I'll list for you, and you can see the differences. So the way I want you to set up your homework is I want you to set up, if you have graph paper or the ability to print this. I'm being told you can't print off of your computers, but you can print off of a home computer and then use the graph provided. It'll be a lot easier for me to correct if you do that. If you can't, and you can maybe get some graph paper, that would be great. But I want it set up like this. I want you to have A, B, C, H, K, and then I want you to put the center, the foci, the length of the major axis. I need to write major there. And the length of the minor axis. And then graph it. So we're going to do all of that together. If you look at this equation, it doesn't have a number underneath the y minus 3. I'm going to put a 1 there. So that means that 9 is the bigger of the two numbers, so the square root of 9 would be a. So a is 3. And the square root of 1 would be b. b is 1. And we know that c squared equals a squared minus b squared. So c squared equals 3 squared minus 1 squared, which is the square root of 8. So you can put the square root of 8 there, but I also like you to put the decimal, because when you're graphing it, you're going to need to know what the square root of 8 is. So it's 2.83. So we have that. Now we have h. h is the opposite of whoever's in the parenthesis with the x. And so that would be a -4. And k is the opposite of whoever's in the parenthesis with the y. So that would be a +3. And now you go to your formula sheet and you find the rest of everything you need. So the center is -4, 3. The foci, if you look at the equation, the bigger number is under the x, which means it's horizontal. And the equation for the foci is h plus c comma k and h minus c comma k. So when we have that, we have -4 minus 2.83 comma 3 and -4 plus 2.83 comma 3. And in order to confuse you, I put the formulas in the wrong place. So these are backwards. So the first foci is -6.83 comma 3. And the second one would be -1.17 comma 3, I believe. I'll check that in a minute. So I'm going to put my foci here, and it's -4. And you can do this plus or minus 2.83 comma 3. So you can put them in one parenthesis, but then you have to, when you plot them, you have to have these numbers here so you can plot them. The major axis is 2a, so that would be 6. And the minor axis is 2b, so that would be 2. So now we go about our business to graph this thing. So -4, 3 is right here. And it's horizontal, so the major axis is going to go 3 to the right. 1, 2, 3. And 3 to the left. 1, 2, 3. And the minor axis is going to go down 1 and up 1. And then you're going to plot that the foci, which is going to be right inside the vertices right there and right inside the vertices right here. It's hard to do this if it's a small, tiny graph, but that's the way it looks. And then you draw your ellipse, and you are done. So this one is in the other form, the standard form, so we need to go ahead and convert it to the equation. It needs to be like we were doing yesterday, which you guys should be good at. I haven't corrected all your papers, but I'm going to do that shortly. So we have, I'm going to go do that down here, 4x squared plus 24x, and leave a space, and then y squared minus 2y equals -1. And here we have to take out the 4, so we have x squared plus 6x plus 9 when you do the plus box, plus y squared minus 2y plus 1 when you do the box equals -1 plus 1 plus 36, because you want to multiply the 4 and the 9 when you add it to the other side. So we get 4x plus 3 squared plus y minus 1 squared equals 36. Divide everything by 36, and we get x plus 3 squared over 9 plus y minus 1 squared over 36 equals 1. So now we do what I told you to do before, A, B, C, H, and K, and they want us to find the center, the foci, and the major axis and the minor axis. Okay, so we know that the big number here is under the y, the 36, so we know A is 6, the square root of 36, and B is 3, the square root of 9, and C would be A squared minus B squared equals C squared. So 36 minus 9 equals C squared, so that's 27. So C is the square root of 27, which is 5.2. So you'll need that for later. Your H is the guy inside the parentheses with the X, the opposite sign, so -3. Your K is the opposite of the -1, so 1. So your center is -3, 1. Your major axis is 2 times 6, which is 12. Your minor axis is 2 times 3, which is 6. And your foci, if you're looking at the vertical side, is H, comma, K minus C, H, comma, K plus C. So we have -3, comma, 1 minus 5.2. and -3, comma, 1 plus 5.2. So that gives us a -3, -4.2, and -3, 6.2. Okay? So your foci, you can put them here as -3, comma, 1 plus or minus 5.2, or you can list both of them, it doesn't matter. But here are the two that you're going to be graphing. So now it's time to graph. We graph our center at -3, 1. And then we graph our major axis. This one's going to be vertical, don't forget. I always put like the letter there, or I mark it so I remember which way to go. But if I'm going A is 6, the major axis is 12, I go up 6, which would be at 7, and down 6 would be at -5. And then B is 3, I'm going to go to the right 3 and to the left 3. Okay? And then you just draw your foci. Your foci are always on the major axis, so if they don't end up there, you're doing something wrong. So it's -3 minus 4.3, which is right inside here, which is perfect. And the other one is right inside there, 6.2. And then you draw on the outside, you draw your ellipse. And that is it for today. You have 4 problems. 2 you have to convert the equations, and 2 are ready for you. Call me if you have any questions. Thank you.